here I am. R.A.W., a terrorist, here to bring trouble to phony MCs. I move on and seize, I just conquer and solve another rapper with ease. Cause I'm at my apex, another's are below, nothing but a milliliter. I'm a kilo, second to none, making MCs run, so don't try to step to me, cause I ain't the one. I believe rappers just like Tylenol, and they know it, so I don't see why you all try to front, perpetrating a stunt, when you know that I smoke you up like a blunt. I'm genuine like Gucci, raw like sushi. The stage of rage is what rap did to me, to make me want to create chaos and mayhem. Cold rock a party until the 8 a.m. I'll make a muscle, grab the mic and hustle. While you stand dazed and amazed, I'll bust a little rhyme with authority, superiority, and captivate the whole crowd's majority. The rhymes I use definitely amuse, better than Dynasty or Hill Street Blues. I'm sure to score and door for more without a floor, cause I get raw. Like a reverend, rappers saw severing, and in my lifetime, believe I've never been beaten or eaten and just taken out. You know, come to think about it, I keep MCs looking out and real nervous when I'm at your service. So give me that title, boy. You don't deserve this. I work like a slave to become a master. And when I say a rhyme, you know that it has to be perfectly fitted, cause I'm committed. The entertainer and trainer and Kane are get with it. I go and flow and grow to let you know I damage you. I'm not an amateur, but a professional, unquestionable, without doubt, superb. So full of action, my name should be a verb. My voice will float on every note when I clear my throat. That's all she wrote. The minute that the cane starts to go on, believe it's gonna be smooth sailing, so on. As I put other rappers out of their misery, get them in a battle and make them more history. Ruling and schooling and sees that I'm drooling. Watch them all take a fall as I sit back cooling on my throne with the bronze microphone. God bless the child that can hold his own, cause I can roar. Ain't it good, Dick? Ain't it good, Dick? Ain't it good, good? 24/7 chillin', killing like a villain. The meaning of raw is ready and willing to do whatever is clever. Take a loss never, and the rhymes I bust coming off as must, and I come off hard with rhymes that are odd. I rip the microphone and leave it scarred. Never smoking or hitting or taking a sniff. Only crushing MCs that be trying to rip. I get strong and titanic. You work like a mechanic. Make MCs panic. They all get frantic and skeptic. Like a girl on a contraceptic. As I rock, but hey, what you expected? I'll get raw for you just like a warrior. Rather like a samurai. And I'll be damned if I ever let a Fisher Price MC hang. The rhyme's a toy, nothing but yin yang. So if we battle on the microphone, bring your own casket in tombstone, and I'ma preach your funeral. Tell me who in the world could ever come with more. I get raw.
'All of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many, and the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply. And the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more? Why don't you stand up? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace, under real freedom, real justice, and real equality.
Your belief is counted unto you as righteousness. It will make the difference between where you fell short and what I call you to be. The last mile of the way is filled in simply by faith. That's a really good deal. He said, I'll mark your account up as if you were righteous, even though you're not righteous, just because you believe me. Abraham believed God, the Bible said, and it was counted unto him as righteousness, just because he believed God. That's why you have to be careful about judging people. Because you see what they did, but you don't know what they believe, and you don't know how God wrote it down in the books. And sometimes the one who is doing the judging might not be on the books as good as the one you are judging, because God counted that belief as righteousness. This is the condemnation that has come into the world, that men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. What God is concerned about in us is the fact that we do not believe. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. It's so simple, we miss it all the time. We give him works, we give him duties, we give him all kinds of sacrifices. We wear long dresses, we got big ectusas on our car, big crosses around your neck, about to break your neck down, trying to carry a cross in, Bible bigger than a 2-year-old baby, walking around trying to be spiritual, walking around in the mall with a family Bible, trying to be spiritual. None of that is going to count as much as simply taking God at his word, believing what he has said about you, walking in truth and in clarity, and having peace of mind. Somebody holler, I believe. The enemy does everything he can to tear down your belief system, to destroy your belief system. If you open up a business, if you open up a company, one of the things you have is vision, purpose, and goals. And you write them down so all of your staff and all of your team and all your customers can know, this is who I am. I am defined by my vision my purpose, and my goals. That's my playbook. That's my creed. That's what I believe as a company, as an institution. I never will forget, several years ago, I toured Nike. And if you ever get a chance to go up there and tour Nike, it's absolutely amazing. I could not find an employee in all of Nike that wasn't quick to tell me who they were. They never talked about who they were individually. They talked about who they were corporately. They knew their history. They knew their background. They knew who they were as a company. A philosophy had so permeated the organization that even the janitors would stop and tell you the philosophy of Nike. You see the reason that's important. If you know who you are, then you know who you are not. If you don't know who you are, somebody can ascribe any identity onto you and you will morph into whatever they want you to be. And that's what has happened with a whole lot of us. Some of us have been 10 or 12 different people depending upon who we were with, because we don't know who we are. We become whoever they want us to be. And then when they leave us, we are confused because we have no real understanding of who we are. You say, well, I thought you were talking about believing in God. I'm talking about believing in God, but I'm also talking about believing in yourself. Paul says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Before he brings up Christ, he brings up him. We're so amazed that he believes in God that we overlook the fact that he believes in himself. I can do all things. Somebody say, I can do all things. Oh my God, just I'm right there. Say it again, I can do all things. Wouldn't it be amazing if you believe that? Wouldn't you sleep good tonight if you believe that? Wouldn't you walk around with your head up and your back straight if you believe that? Say it again, I can do all things. You wouldn't be intimidated by anybody, anywhere, at any time if you just believe that. Say it again, I can do all things. Can you imagine how different your job interview would go if you really believed that and walked in, they said, what do you do? I can do. Imagine if you were taught that from the time you were born into the world. The first thing your mama told you when they spanked you on the behind is, don't worry about it, baby. You can do all things. We quote it. But we don't believe it. Not like we should. Not like we need to. Not like we need to for the level of devil we fight. One of the great privileges of my life is the opportunity, one of the great privileges is the opportunity to interact with people that I've seen from afar off, I get to see up close. I have met very few incredibly successful people who were not positive about themselves, confident in themselves. And I have met none of them who were any more gifted than you. None of them are any more gifted than you. In fact, in many cases, they are less gifted, less talented, less skilled. They don't have more than you. They think differently than you. People aren't blessed because they have more. Life is an equal opportunity experience. You come here with 2 eyes and 2 legs and 2 ears and a nose and a mouth and a couple of hands. Boom, you're here. What you do with what God gave you is left up to you. The guy sitting beside you has no more than you do. He might have done more with what he had, but he didn't get any more than you. In fact, when it comes to faith, the Bible says God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. So away with these superheroes in the church who claim to have more faith than everybody else. God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. It would not be right for salvation to be based on belief and then God not give me enough belief to be saved. We got the same stuff, but we don't get to the same result. I want to talk this morning about a man that was meant to shake the nations, a man that was meant to sit with kings, a man that was meant to lead millions of people, a man that was meant to handle billions of dollars, a man that was meant to be revered amongst all other men. But at the time we meet him in this text, he is a runaway criminal hiding in the woods, in the dark, trembling like a child. How could you have such a great destiny and be in such a horrific situation? I'm talking about Moses. I want you to understand that the predicament that you are in right now does not define your destiny. They don't believe nothing. Let me try y'all over here. The predicament that you are in right now does not define your destiny. They're doing a little bit better. I'm going to try this section over here. The predicament that you are in right now does not define your destiny. You ought to look at every negative situation in your house and say, you're a liar. I don't believe you. I hate to tell you this, you might not want me to be a pastor here anymore, but I talk to things. When nobody's looking, I talk to things. When I'm backed in a corner, I talk to things that have no ears. I talk to objects that cannot respond. And Michael, one day I walked in my house, the one with the lights off and the gas off, the one that they repossessed the car from. I walked in the house and I looked at the house and I said, house, you a liar. You lied on me. I'm better than this. I knew that me and the house was in a disagreement. And one of us had to be a liar, and I decided it wasn't me. So I told the house which one of us was lying. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You ought to lay hands on that tumor and call it a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar in the name of Jesus. Whose report do you believe? I will believe the report of the Lord. Every voice that said you'll never be nothing, you got to call it out. You're a liar. Every time something whispers in your ear and says, you can't make it through this, you can't take this, you're going to have a nervous breakdown, you're going to lose your mind, you're going to die like your mama did, you're going to get sick like your daddy did, you got to talk back to those voices and say, hey! Touch your neighbor and tell him I'm calling out liars this morning. Sickness is a liar. Failure is a liar. Depression is a liar. Suicide is a liar. Despair is a liar. Spiritual heaviness, you're a liar. Disease, you're a liar. Can't learn, you're a liar. Can't read, you're a liar. Can't make it, you're a liar. Can't take it, you ought to call out every liar. The Bible said, let God be true and every man a liar. It was early in my pastorate, a young lady with a very strong spirit and a belligerent attitude that had grown to be a belligerent attitude toward me, told her little posse in my church that she was my intercessor. On the surface, that sounds nice. But she said, I'm his intercessor, and if I don't pray for him, he can't preach. Well, I was a young pastor. I didn't have much suave or anything like that. But through a series of events, I disfellowshipped her. And she said, you'll never be able to preach without me. And I said, 25 years later, I'm still standing here declaring the infallible word of God. You didn't make me. You can't break me. You didn't stop me. You can't finish me. Greater is he that is in me than... Oh. I didn't disfellowship her because of what she said. It was some other things that happened. But in her absence, she thought she would shut me down. How many people have walked out of your life and thought that their absence would shut you down? Jump up and holler, you a liar! Well, I feel a shout about to take over this place. It sounds like somebody else in here has had some lying voices whispering in your ear, telling you what you can't do and what you can't be and what you can't have. And if you don't do it with me, it can't be done. The devil is a lie. So, if I would have believed it, if I would have received it, see, believing is the door of entry. If I would believe it, then I would receive it, and it would have brought forth fruit in my life. Sometimes the only kind of abortion that a Christian needs to have is to abort every lying seed that has attached itself to the womb of your spirit, trying to bring forth fruit of damnation in your life. You need to abort every voice that said you can't do it, you can't have it, you can't be it, you'll never get up, you'll never survive. The devil is a lie. Abort that thing. Push it out. So, what had happened was, I guess because I've been doing a lot of things on leadership, I've been trying to figure out, are leaders born or made? Do they just come here exceptional? Or do they become exceptional through the things they learn or suffer? And I started looking at, to me, the greatest pastor, leader of the Old Testament was pretty messed up. I mean, if I was God and I was going to choose somebody to address kings and lead millions of people out of bondage, to negotiate deliverance, I would have never picked Moses. There are a lot of reasons that Moses wouldn't have been my first choice. By the time Moses got the sentence out, you'd have been an old person. But this is not his speech impediment that is the most disturbing. They say the formative years of a child, the first few years of their life, are the most important years. They say everything matters, right down to playing classical music while you're pregnant. They say it all affects the IQ and the intellect, the colors in the room, the way you talk to babies. By that standard, Moses would never be a great leader. Moses was hidden under the sink, in the dark, in the shadows, wrapped in blankets, on the hit list, about to be destroyed. His mama was hiding him under suitcases or bags of luggage or somewhere. He was hidden. He was hidden as a baby. His identity was hidden. His greatness was hidden. His destiny was hidden. His purpose was hidden. It wasn't like he was bounced around and played with and loved with and nurtured in a normal, yeah, let's deal with that, normal. He spent his early months hidden in the house, and then his mama put him in a basket in a river with snakes and alligators and crocodiles by himself to float down the river. He was abandoned. He was hidden. He was abandoned. He was adopted. He was an Egyptian by situation, but a Hebrew by birth. That's confusing. What language, what culture, what God, what religion, what ceremonies, what cleansing. He was a montage of so many different things. He was like a mutt. His name Moses means to be drawn out. And I think that when greatness is inside of you, it has to be drawn out. Some people's greatness is drawn out by being exposed to other great people, and they see greatness in other people, and it draws out the greatness that exists inside of them. Some people's greatness is drawn out by challenges, adversity. They don't even know they're great until the Bible said that when the lion roared, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson. Sometimes it is the attack that draws the greatness out of you. You don't even know you're great till the lion roars, till all hell breaks loose, until everybody faints and you decide something's got to be done. Sometimes it is the trouble you avoid that God is using to draw the greatness out of your life. Why would you make Moses a leader? He was a failure. He was a confused failure who tried to take matters into his own hands and ended up murdering a man and had to run out of his own house. He leaves Egypt a refugee, on the run, a criminal, on the hit list of the king. He leaves Egypt in a mess and tries to make a new life for himself. He hooks up with the Midianites, a little group of people who didn't even know who he was. They thought he was an Egyptian. He was a Hebrew. Sometimes you hook up with people who think you are something that you are not. And if they knew who you really were, they might not would let you in. But the reason it's easy to deceive them is because you're not sure who you are either. It's not that you're evil or wicked, it's just that you're confused and vulnerable and susceptible. And when you don't know who you are, I guess I become whatever you call me. Like Jacob, who became what they called him. His name meant trickster, con artist, scammer. Every time they come here, little scammer, get you some breakfast. Come on, scammer, it's time to go to bed. People can pronounce things over you when you're a child that you live up to. And until he has an encounter with God, he doesn't know who he is. God tells him who his name is. Your name is not Jacob. Your name is Israel. For you are a prince. A prince who's a thief and a crook and a liar? Yes, it hadn't been drawn out. There are some things that God has in you that has not been drawn out. No, I'm talking to the phony church folk. 40 years in ministry, and I still got things in me that have yet to be drawn out. That's why I woke up this morning. And I didn't wake up dead, because it was another day to give me a chance to draw it out. Look at somebody say, I'm still drawing it out. If you stick with me, you're going to see new sides to me that you never saw before, because I'm still coming into my own. At the time we find Moses on the backside of the desert, we know he's over 40. We know he's over 40 because he spent 40 years in Egypt and 40 years on the backside of the desert. He was 80 when he finally got it together. Don't you sit there and look all funny because you're 52 and confused. I don't know why y'all are looking all across. Oh my God. Sitting up there 61 years old and crazy as a drunk bed bug. He was 80 years old. All of you who feel like you got it together, I got a flash for you. It takes a long time to figure life out. Give yourself some time. Stop trying to be too smart too fast. It takes a while to come into your own. It takes a while to draw out who you are. God in a burning bush appears unto Moses and tells him to take off his shoes, that the ground you stand on is holy ground. And at nearly 80 years old, God unfolds his destiny. Ain't that amazing? Now, this is easy for me to preach, more so now at 58 than it was at 28. Because I'm old enough now to realize that it's going to take longer than I thought at 28. That there are still areas in my life that me and God have to sit down and talk about. That I am still being fathered. Where are my real people at? I want some folks with some gray hair that still do some dumb stuff, and God is still fathering you to back me up on this point. Touch three people, say, I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I'm still working on it, I'm working on it. I'm better than I used to be. I'm smarter than I used to be. I'm wiser than I used to be. I'm brighter than I've ever been, but I haven't mastered it yet. I'm still working on it even right now. Every now and then I relapse and go back to thinking like I used to think or feeling like I used to feel. He's not finished. And in essence, God has given this huge assignment to go and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And he gave the assignment to somebody who was running and hiding. And he gave it to somebody who was still confused and vulnerable and insecure and intimidated. And he gave it to somebody who has some stuff that hadn't been worked out yet. God gave a big assignment to a guy who was so small. So if you're feeling small inside, it doesn't mean that you don't have a great call. Look at this. Look at this with me. I'm going to read a few scriptures. Exodus 4, 1 through 6. And it says, and Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken to my voice, for they will say, the Lord hath not appeared unto thee. And the Lord said unto him, what is in your hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, it became a serpent. And Moses started running. See, when you start running from one thing, you're going to keep running from everything. That's why you need to stop running and face whatever you got to face and deal with whatever you got to deal with. Because if you run from Pharaoh, you're going to run from the serpent. You're going to run from love. You're going to run from life. You're going to run from responsibility. You're going to run. When are you going to stop running? Moses, you'll never be Moses if you keep running from stuff that scares you. Moses, you'll never be great if you keep running from things that scare you. You're running from something that God gave you. And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. Put forth, now, I was so scared, I'm running. And you want me to grab. Now visualize this. How many of you want to grab a snake by the tail? God can call you to grab stuff you're scared of. Tell somebody, say, take it by the tail. Oh my God. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has appeared unto thee. I want to go back for a minute and process what we heard. God, I would do it, but they will not believe me. Was it really that they would not believe? Or is he imposing on them something that's really coming from him? Whatever you've been saying about they might really be you. They won't accept me. They won't love me. They won't accept me. They can't use me. They'll never embrace me. You'll never get anybody to embrace you till you embrace yourself. You'll never get anybody to believe in you till you believe in yourself. You'll never get anybody to love you till you love yourself. Your they might be you in disguise. Ooh, y'all got quiet on that? I must have hit something. He said, now God says to him, I want you to go speak for me. And he says, they will not believe in me. God doesn't even respond to what he says. He says, what is in your hand? Why didn't he address what he believed about they? Because what he believed about they was just a reflection of what he believed about himself. So God says, let's do inventory of what you got. What is in your hand? This Sunday morning, if I don't get anything else accomplished, I want to ask you, what is in your hand? Before you assign your destiny to something externally, have you assessed what is in your hand? Because somebody could take what is in your hand and win. While you keep crying about what's not in your hand, God said, I don't need anything that's not in your hand to bless you. I'm going to use something that is already. I feel like I'm talking to somebody. I don't know who it is. What is that in thine hand? If you don't do anything else today, I want you to do a self-assessment of what is in my hand. All the other voices that have been talking to you have been telling you what is not in your hand. God does not need anything that is not in your hand to bless you. Your blessing is hidden in what is in your hand. The problem is you have a limited perception of what is in your hand. You think it's just a rod. You think it's just a stick. God says, I want to show you the potential of what is in your hand. Throw it down. Now, this is a powerful thing, because if Moses does not learn this in private, it will mess him up in public. Because when he gets down to the Red Sea, he's going to have to use that same stick to part the Red Sea. And if he doesn't have any confidence in private, he won't have any power in public. You're going to need what you got. Oh, God, help me. Oh, my God, I feel that thing. I feel that thing. I feel that thing. Show the neighbor and say, you got more than you think you do. You can do more than you think you can do. You can have more than you think you can have. The problem is not coming from what they believe. It's coming from what you believe. Oh, God, I'm talking to somebody. Stop blaming people for the years you wasted. It's not coming from them, Moses. You was a failure in front of them. Now your failure in private, it can't be coming from them. They're not even there. The voice is in the house. I was going to say, who am I talking to? But I know you don't want to say nothing. He says, the Lord said unto him, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. It became a rod in his hand. He caught it as a snake. It became a rod. Sometimes you will not see till you snatch. The problem with most people is you want to see your way clear before you pick it up. But God said you got to pick it up scared, nervous, worried, intimidated, not sure of yourself. It will only turn into a rod when it's, oh my God. You don't even know what you got till you pick it up.
You don't even know what you have until you pick it up. Ready for revolution. Assalamu alaikum. Hey, family. Good to see all of you this morning. Thank you for assisting us in getting the word out. Facebook decided to get back on their job and block. So now I've gone from 9 countries to 247 locations. I don't know what those locations are, but I'm sure that the countries have been upgraded as well, because you don't have 247 countries. At any rate, I want to dive right into this. Welcome, family. Listen, I have some very special news available to us at 4 p.m. So make sure you're on the training at 4 p.m. today. I extend greetings from Mr. Michael L. Dalco, senior partner and team dreamer, Wealth Builders Worldwide. I just got off the phone with him, and we just had some very exciting time. So I'll see all of us at 4 p.m. on our platform for the GSB launch training. Join the power call today, 10:45 a.m. Eastern, www.gorocks.info. Please, Miss Cece or others, share the password, and we'll and get back to those of you who don't have the password. Get back to those that brought you to this opportunity. Okay, and 10:45 we have the power call on Gold Rocks, www.goldrocks.info, commandeered by Mr. Rodney Berger, the big whiz. And then at 12 noon, Mr. Gold Collector is back with us, Dante Taylor, giving the 12 noon presentation. And then 4 p.m., I'm with us on our private platform. And then at 9 p.m., we're back on Gold Rocks with the live event from Brother Matthew Taylor. And then at 10 o'clock, all of us are back to the GSB launch or transition training. Okay, very, very important, very critical. I want to thank all of you and congratulate all of you for being a part of the successful launch of our coin. The G999 is now on BitForex and on Coin Super. This is amazing. This is phenomenal, and we have more to come. More amazing news to come over the next few days. The last thing I want to urge you all to pay attention to are your text messages, your announcements, things that you receive from your leadership. Make sure you comb through them. Make sure that you see them and know that understand that it's for you. If it says, please do not share in social media. It's very, very important. It's critical to our growth. It's critical to the strategies that are being implemented on high in order for us to receive the blessings down low. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so please be discerning, be discreet. Just don't blindly share. Read the information. Read the what's coming to you, because sometimes what's for you is for you. All right, there's a couple of things I want to share from this Bishop Jake's presentation on Believe. It's one of my favorite presentations from him. And I know we shared it in our session before, but facts are facts. Belief without works, they don't count for nothing. They don't count for nothing. You got to act upon what you believe. Faith feeds belief. Attitude comes right after. You know, success is in the doing. It's about action. Okay. A couple of things. One point that I saw many of you picked up on. There are areas of our lives where we are still being fathered. So give yourself time to succeed. Work through your failures. Work through the challenges. Work through the fears. Work, because it will overcome all those things. If you don't learn in private, you don't have it in public. If you don't gain the confidence in your team by team building, you have to team build. You have to team build. You have to plug in. You have to be a part. You have to be actively engaged with your peers in order to develop the confidence. So when you step out into the world, you have the power and the right to exercise that power. But if you do not position yourself to learn, to develop, to grow, then what happens is whatever you lack in private, you're going to lack it in public. So this is why we pool the resources. What resources? The brilliance amongst us, the activities amongst us, the programming amongst us. We pool those resources, and then we go through them, we comb through them, we role play with each other. We do those things that allow for our eventual success. From Brother Reggie Scott, you are invited to today's power call on a new platform, 10:45 a.m. Eastern, 9:45 Central, 8:45 Mountain, and 7:45 Pacific time, www.goldrocks.info, Monday through Saturday. Thank you, my brother and friend, Brother Reggie Scott. So you want to do those things. Now, the rod became, the rod was only a rod after it was a tail. The grabbing of the tail created the rod. Well, you don't see the tail of anything unless it's going away from you. All right. And before it became a rod, it was a tail, and it was a snake before that. It was the end of a snake crawling on its belly, surreptitiously just hissing and crawling throughout the land. It became a rod. It became a standard when it came into your hand. What happens when you grab a snake by the tail and it turns into the rod? What is happening here in this process, you're exposing the snake for what he or she has done. And you're creating moral authority because now you turned it into a rule of law, a rule that will guide you by which you will not do what the snake did. As Brother Gregory would say, I'm talking to somebody right now. I'm talking to somebody right now. You won't do what the snake did. Okay. So those are the points that I wanted to share. I want to thank you for your time this morning. Did you all get something out of class and session this morning? If you did, let's get a couple of amens in the chat over Bishop Jake's message. And hopefully it's something that's resonated with you. And like Sister Cece shares, act upon what you believe. It is so vitally important. Act upon what you believe. All right. So peace and power, family. I will see us all on the power call. I will see us again at 10:45. There's a lot of phone meetings going on behind the scenes to bring some great news. Put yourself under a rule of law. Follow the law. Read the messages you get. If it tells you don't share it because it's a blessing you're throwing away if you do. Peace and power. I'll see us all on the power call. Forward.
Who am I preaching to? It's going to turn in your hand, not in your eye, in your hand. When you grab it, it'll change when you touch it, because you're going to touch it by faith. God is asking him to grab what he just got through running from.
Thank you, family. Peace and power. Forward.
Oh, my people, I want you to understand and know the time. It's time that we are accepted and respected by both man and mankind. You know, the scripture says that God would choose those that are despised and rejected. And we have been that and cast aside. No one wanted us, and no one cared for us. And the worst thing about it, we never cared for ourselves. Oh, but brothers and sisters, it's time now that we fall in love with ourselves and with each other. This world has robbed us of a true guide, but it's time to unite and fight hard for unity. Brothers and sisters, we must live for each other and die for each other, because that's the only way that we're gonna know the meaning of what it is to be free. Then we'll conquer fear and wipe away all our tears. That's the benefit of our unity. Oh, my people, it is written that in the last days God would come after that sheep that was lost, and he has come today and he has given us Elijah, a man to show us the way out of the ditch of hell. So up, you mighty nation. You can accomplish anything that you will. So come on, let's rise again. Yes, let us build again. As our fathers built the pyramids and the Sphinx and all of the great ancient wonders. Let's rise again and build as our fathers used to do. Come on, let's unite. And strive with all our might. Oh, let's fight hard for unity. Brothers and sisters, we must learn to live for each other and die for each other, because that's the only way we're gonna know the joy of being free. We'll conquer fear. Then we'll conquer fear and wipe away all our tears. That's the benefit of our unity. Come on, black man, rise again. And build again. Unity. Rise again. The basis of unity is love. When we love each other, we come into unity with each other. And when we're in unity, we have the strength and the power to overcome all obstacles in the pathway of our freedom. Yes, brothers and sisters, this is the benefit of our unity. So let's rise again. Come on, black man, rise again. Brothers and sisters, come on. Build again. Unity. So let's rise again. Baby, and build again.